Hey, it's me. In the last episode, we only brushed the surface of something really important, our needs. When we fully understand our needs and realize that many of them might be hidden or held back, we find the key to a lot of deep problems in our heart and in our life. Understanding our needs can take us way beyond just learning about patterns and wrong ideas. There are two main kinds of needs. Those that come from our natural instincts, like wanting to be safe or wanting to create, and those that come from our image of perfect self. Our instinctual needs can be healthy and normal. If we push them down or pretend they don't exist, they can turn into powerful, harmful forces. It's not just the fake or imaginary needs that can be harmful. Sometimes even a healthy, normal need can turn destructive if we deny it or don't realize we have it. On the other hand, the perfect self we imagine has its own set of needs, like wanting glory, always winning, or feeding our vanity and pride. To figure out why these needs are there, we have to think about how that perfect self got created in the first place. Often the two kinds of needs mix together so that we can't really tell, even deep down, which ones are healthy and which ones aren't. The needs from our perfect self can make us feel guilty, but so can the legitimate normal needs we're all supposed to have. And that's often because of our surroundings or certain teachings or messages that we got from parents or other authority figures. The overall misunderstanding leads to us trying to bury the very human instincts that actually need to be handled and guided in a healthy way. Once we break free from fighting against ourselves and hiding parts of ourselves, we realize that the things we felt most guilty about are actually normal and even creative. We misunderstood them, so we starved them. But starving them doesn't make them disappear. Instead, they just show up in a messy way that we can't control. And then we try to satisfy them in ways that won't work. The real needs can only be taken care of if we're fully aware of them. And that's how we can bring together our instincts with clear understanding. This misunderstanding, where we think some of our real needs are bad, causes us to bury them and then throw up walls in our behavior. And this in turn can cause more harm. Maybe you started to notice this already. You might wonder, well, what does our wall or defense mechanism have to do with these needs? The short answer is when our healthy needs are trapped inside, we often do things that go against our own best interests because we're trying so hard to meet these needs in secret. And that ends up causing even more pain. So we build stronger walls against feeling that pain, which only leads us further from the happiness we want. That's why we have to bring these hidden needs out into the open, shine a light on them. Once we do, we can choose better ways to try and meet them. We might find our so-called defense mechanism came from being scared of life's challenges and of really being open and involved. Or we might see that we wrongly believe certain needs were shameful, so we fought them inside ourselves. Now, I don't just mean sexual needs here. That's typically where our minds go. Those are absolutely important. But it can be a lot of other needs too, ones that run even deeper, that need the same kind of acceptance and guidance. If your real needs stay hidden, they end up being more urgent and desperate. Being aware of them means that you can act on them sensibly, letting yourself choose wisely. Sometimes this might mean giving something up in the short run so you can get something better in the long run. And being able to do that is definitely a mark of growing. If you push those needs down and hide them, your want for them becomes so strong that you can't stand not getting what you want right away. And then you're stuck doing things that block the very happiness you're after. Now, the tricky part in this is that no single rule can tell you what to do, can tell you what's right for you. You need to find out how it shows up in you personally. Okay, so pay attention to your basic instincts, like why you need something, what it's meant to do for you, and how you may have tripped yourself up trying to get it. Eventually, you'll locate a core spot inside yourself where you feel stuck in what some people call a neurotic place. It's like this mental knot caused by trapped needs and an inability to let go of certain cravings. As a result, you often feel helpless, dependent, or unable to pick between often two equally bad choices. This is your red flag. Okay, this is your big clue when you notice this. When you finally see this happening inside you, you're on a big step toward freedom. You'll see how you trap yourself and realize you actually don't need to hate yourself for having normal needs. You'll notice the real reason you feel bad about yourself is that you haven't been able or willing to let go when it's necessary. As you practice letting go, you'll start to feel a new strength and respect for yourself. And trust me, that feels wonderful. At first, it may only pop up now and then, but the more you stick with it, the more you'll hold on to it, and the less you'll slip back. And when you get really good at finding that small turning point of letting go, you're not held prisoner by your needs anymore, because now you know what they are, and you aren't scared of them. You can figure out the best way to fulfill them. If you can't let go, that's one of the biggest factors in feeling inadequate. That wall of defense, where you're split between grabbing at your needs and hating yourself for having them, is what triggers a lot of your shame. Letting go in a healthy way and understanding the process piece by piece brings you the confidence that you're trying to find. Okay, so you don't want to force yourself to give something up just because it seems like the right thing to do on the surface. That could be, just a way of faking a sacrifice or even hurting yourself. The real surrendering of an illusion only happens when you see clearly that holding on to it isn't doing you any good. When that moment comes, you'll know you're making a choice that serves your own best interest. And you won't feel like you're losing something you really needed. Some of this might sound confusing right now. I get it. But as you do this work, maybe even with someone who can support you, you'll start feeling what I'm talking about. At that moment when you see how these painful cycles happen in you, it's an amazing victory. It means you're finally healing this twisted part of yourself that has been causing extra pain and worry. So here's to finding that moment for you. I love you. Connect soon.